Hi everybody, welcome to the lesson where we learn how to calculate an insulin sliding scale. Very exciting stuff. People have to use insulin sliding scale for correction of high blood sugars. These are usually patients with type 1 diabetes or patients that have steroid-induced diabetes or even type 2 diabetic patients on insulin. There's background concepts we need to put in place before we get to the sliding scale. And the first one is to talk about the total daily dose of insulin. That's going to allow us to talk about the insulin sensitivity factor, and then we're going to end up talking about the insulin sliding scale. So the total daily dose, it's based on units per kilo per day, and it's a prescription of insulin that includes both the short and long-acting insulins. If someone is first diagnosed, they're anywhere between 0.6 to 1.0 units per kilo per day. Some patients might need a little bit less, some patients need a little bit more. It's based on how resistant you are to insulin, this range of where you stand. Patient A down here to patient B, where it's much more resistant, are going to have different insulin requirements. And the where you are depends on factors like age. A baby is on the left side of the chart, a teen is on the right. With age comes puberty, with puberty comes resistance to insulin. So TANA stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mean increasing amounts of insulin resistance. If you're obese, we all know that you become more resistant, and the degree of obesity contributes to the degree of resistance to insulin. And lastly, if you any particular day you have ketones or even acidosis or DKA, you're going to be more resistant to your insulin. So 0.6 is all the way to the left of the scale and 1.0 to the right. The exceptions, like a 0.4 will be a little baby, a very small body, and a 1.2 might be someone that has obesity and is also in DKA. So let's have a concrete example. Let's take a new diagnosis, a 10-year-old boy with a new diagnosis of type 1 diabetes that we have to calculate this from scratch. He's not in DKA, and let's say that he's on average weight for his age, so about 30 kilos. So we said that he's 10, he's not exactly a baby, but he's not even a teen, so he's somewhere early on the age scale. He's prepubertal, he's not obese, and not in DKA, so we're going to start with a 0.6 units per kilo per day. So we're going to multiply that 0.6 by his weight and get a number. Those 18 units are going to be the whole insulin he's going to have to use for the whole day. So let me make some more space here to the right, where we're going to take those 18 units and use them to calculate the insulin sensitivity factor. For all patients, it's 1800 over total daily dose. The total daily dose is the only thing that changes in this equation, and for him, this fraction is 100. That 100 is the very important number. It's the number that actually says that 1 unit of insulin in this patient specifically should reduce the blood sugar by X amount, milligrams per deciliter. For this patient, we said that is 100. That number is going to allow us to take this to the next step where we calculate the insulin sliding scale. So let me move down and right where we have more space. And the way we make this sensitivity factor into comprehensive terms for the patients, we say, look, you're going to have a range of blood sugars where your target is going to be anywhere between 80 and 120, 100 being in the middle, but it's going to be high blood sugars that you need to react and correct. And we start usually with 200 and we go up by hundreds. So we say that if you're in the 200s and we know your sensitivity is 1 unit for every 100, you're going to need just 1 unit to go down to the target. If you're in the 300s, you're going to need 1 and then 2 units to go down to the target. And if you're even higher than that, you're going to keep adding 1 unit for every 100. So in the 400s, he's going to need 1, 2, 3 units to make it down to target. So you can see that's how we make sliding scales individualized for the patients. For someone that has a sensitivity factor of 100, we just said that's 1, 2, 3. If someone is less sensitive, so sensitivity factor is 50, they're going to need double the insulin, so 2, 4, and 6. And so on and so forth. If someone has a sensitivity factor of 20, they're going to need 5, 10, 15 units to go down to target. So let's zoom out and review what we talked about. Let me bring this in focus. And we said that total daily dose is units per kilo per day, and it depends on age, pubertal status, obesity, and DKA presence. Is usually between 0.6 and 1.0, and it gives you a number when you multiply it times the weight, where you can put it into the sensitivity factor formula that gives you a number by which all blood sugars are going to be reduced by for 1 unit. And that's how powerful the insulin is. That's going to allow you to make an individualized sliding scale for the patient where you can break down the hyperglycemia degrees into segments and tell them to take X amount of insulin for a specific number. Thank you for listening. Make sure that you check out the other endocrine videos online.